One bad deal can end you in this business. But what's actually more dangerous than losing everything to one bad deal, and what's killing more investors than anything else right now, is even good deals that are getting crushed by bad property management. The reason this keeps happening is because most investors don't actually understand the difference between property management and asset management. A lot of people assume it's the same, and therefore it's something that everybody ignores. Your most important job as a real estate investor, but nobody's talking about it. So before we get into this, I didn't cruise my way to success in this business. I was desperate to make it in real estate when I first started, and wholesaling was the only way I knew how to start with no capital. So that's what I did. That led to flipping, which led to running my first property management company, and eventually to my investment and management firm with residential, multifamily, and commercial assets across several markets. We only manage our own assets. I've managed properties from the city and some of the roughest neighborhoods to the burbs and some of the most affluent areas where everybody wants to live, and pretty much everywhere in between. Not just from the office, but from the ground, like hand-to-hand combat, showing up, doing the work, being present, knowing what's going on when deals are not working out, and also knowing what's going right when they do work out. I've seen it all. The industry led a lot of people just off in the wrong direction to begin with. We were told, make sure the deal pencils out. You just got to evaluate it using this fancy spreadsheet, get your financing in order, raise a down payment, close on it, hire a property manager, set it and forget it, passive income, move on to the next one, right? That mindset exploded, especially online. Like, money was cheap, rents were climbing, mistakes were covered up by appreciation. Like, you could make mistakes, you could slip, you could have mishaps, but you just kept making more money, so it didn't really matter. The problem is, great property management is very, very hard to find. And even if you do find it, it's only half the job, right? Property management, like, let's understand what that means. Collecting rent, okay? Handling maintenance, responding to tenant issues, managing tenant communications. You're putting out fires, right? It's reactive. This is maintenance, generally. Right? But it's completely different from asset management, which is what actually makes the money. Asset management is projecting and maximizing income, is controlling expenses, is forecasting vacancy and turnover to understand the true operating costs and then make strategic decisions to improve that performance over time. Property managers are generally not asset managers, and truth be told, most of them don't even know the difference. Asset managers are responsible for making sure the asset doesn't sink and that it actually delivers the return on your investment. Most investors never become asset managers themselves because they assume somebody else is doing it and therefore nobody's doing it, right? They want to yell at the property manager, why am I not getting my money? Property managers managing the asset, or managing the property the way they're supposed to be, and the asset side of it is not their job, it's your job. So when we don't have this lens on asset management, it leads to a lot of the real deal killers I've seen, like underwriting assumptions that set you up to fail, overestimating rents, underestimating OpEx expenses, underestimating the costs of vacancy and turnover and what they actually do to asset performance. Seeing how one bad turnover can erase months or years of cash flow, right? Maintaining and managing expense creep, like seeing where all your money's going before it goes there, or tracking those trends to make sure that you're not pouring money into a sinking ship and figuring out what's needed to get it turned around. It's assuming, a lot of people have assumed that there would be no problems whatsoever and that you could just manage it and it would just kick off cash flow, right? But the market is done with that. Like, bad operators have been exposed, and the market is not in a place where that will be forgiven anymore. Rents have softened, interest rates went up, expenses went up, right? Many investors realized what was happening too late. We can no longer afford to be sloppy and think that these assets are still going to float. So what this has led to is now it's time for investors to face the truth that the most unsexy part of real estate is what actually makes the money, and now you have to either get really good at managing assets or you're not going to make it in this business. If you expect to get wealthy by owning assets that you don't control and that you don't stay on top of, that's like betting. That's basically gambling. That's risky. Risk is not knowing whether the thing you're counting on to provide for your family's future is actually going to do what it's supposed to do, or if that thing's going to flip and end up costing you everything. So I leave you with this. Wealth in real estate isn't built at the closing table. It's not built in spreadsheets. It's not built in pro formas. It's not built in somebody's fancy OM that they sent you with the perfect alignment and all the different colors colors and everything else that makes this asset look absolutely beautiful, right? It's built in the decisions and the work that gets done every single day after you close. So as an investor to investor, I encourage you to educate yourself, get knowledgeable, and get experience in knowing and understanding what it actually takes to successfully manage your assets, because you cannot afford to pass off that job to somebody else and hope that they're going to do it the right way. One day you're going to end up in a place where you wake up and wonder, what the heck happened and why am I going through this? I've had this story play out in so many different conversations I've had with investors over the years, and it honestly is not a pleasant experience every single time. So if you got any value from this, I encourage you to stick around, like this video, subscribe. I'm actually going to be dropping a lot more content around just real world experience, real world perspective from hand-to-hand combat in the business to help you manage your assets better, be more profitable, and to achieve the success in real estate that you set out for, because you, your family deserve it. So I'll catch you on the next one.